Chapter 1. The First Meeting. The train rushed along angrily. Guy was thinking about Miriam. He saw her round, pink face, her cruel mouth. He started to hate her. Perhaps Miriam doesn't want a divorce, Guy thought unhappily. But she's pregnant, and it's not my child, and she must want to marry the father. Why does she want to see me, though? She can get a divorce without that. Perhaps she doesn't want a divorce, only money. Miriam sometimes asked him for money, and he always sent it because she was good at making trouble, and Guy didn't want his mother to be unhappy. In Metcalfe, Guy's hometown, Miriam pretended that Guy lived in New York, so he could succeed as an architect before he sent for her. Guy thought about his girlfriend Anne, and how much he loved her, and about the important job he had in Florida. He felt happy. Soon, Guy said to himself, soon. He started to read his book. After he had read half a page, Guy looked up and saw a young man sitting opposite him. The young man was very tall and thin, and he smiled shyly at Guy, as if he did not know whether to speak or not. Guy moved in his seat and accidentally touched the young man's foot. "Sorry," Guy said. "That's all right," the man said. "Say, where are we? Do you know?" "Texas." The young man took a small bottle of whiskey from his pocket and offered it to Guy with a friendly smile. He had a very large head. His face did not look stupid or intelligent, or young, or old. His eyes were red and tired, but his skin was as smooth as a girl's. "No thanks," Guy said. The young man drank some of the whiskey. Then he asked, very politely, "Where are you going?" "Metcalfe." Guy wanted to read his book. "Nice town, Metcalfe," the young man said. "Are you going on business?" Yes." Guy turned the page of his book. "What business?" the young man asked, like a child. "I'm an architect." "That's interesting," he said. He put his hand forward. "My name's Bruno, Charles Anthony Bruno." Guy shook his hand. "Guy Haines," he said. "Do you live in New York, Guy?" Bruno asked. "Yes, I do." "I live on Long Island," Bruno said. "I'm going to Santa Fe on holiday." Guy wanted to read or to think, but he could feel this man who wanted to talk all the time looking at him. The train stopped, and Guy took a walk outside for some fresh air. But it wasn't fresh. It was hot and thick. He went back to the train for some dinner. "Hello!" Bruno sat down at Guy's table. "Look, I've got a private room. Have dinner with me. That'll be nice." "No, thanks, Guy said. "Yes," Bruno said. He stood up quickly. He seemed drunk. He ordered dinner for two in his private room. Then he walked away, stepping carefully. Guy followed him. Why not? He thought. He's someone to talk to. Bruno's room was very untidy. There were clothes, magazines, cigarettes, chocolates everywhere on the floor and the seats. In the middle of the floor, Guy saw 4 big bottles of whiskey in a straight line. A waiter brought dinner, and they started to eat and to drink the whiskey. "What are you going to build in Metcalfe, Guy?" Bruno asked, his mouth full of food. "Nothing," Guy said. "My mother lives in Metcalfe. It's my home." Bruno stopped eating. Do you like your mother, Guy? Yes. Your father, too? He's dead, Guy said. Oh, yeah, I like my mother, too, Bruno said. She's coming to Santa Fe. We do everything together. Bruno stopped suddenly. Do you think that's strange? No, Guy said. Mother gives me money, Bruno said. He lit a cigarette and drank more whiskey. Father never gives me anything. He's rich, too, Bruno shouted. I want my own money. Then Bruno laughed. Father would like you, Guy. You're good and quiet, and you've got a good job, too. Me? I don't want to work. Why should I? I don't feel like it. Bruno laughed again. Father wants me to go into his business. Like hell I will. Bruno pushed his cigarette into the dish of butter next to his plate. He never gives me money. I know he doesn't like me. I don't like him. You know, Guy, sometimes I could kill him. Bruno looked at Guy. Did you ever want to murder someone, Guy? Guy wasn't listening. He was thinking about Anne and Miriam and Florida. It was all mixed up in his head. Tell me about you, Guy, Bruno asked. What kind of things do you build? What? Guy tried to think. Oh, houses, offices. Are you married, Guy? No. Yes, well, I'm separated. I left 3 years ago, Guy said. He didn't want to tell Bruno these things. Oh, why is that, Guy? I think we were too young. Do you love her? Bruno's eyes weren't tired now. They were bright and looked straight at Guy. You take love seriously, don't you, Guy? Guy didn't answer this. What kind of girl is your wife? Bruno asked. She's pretty, red hair, a little fat, Guy said. We're going to get a divorce, he said. Why? Why now? Why not before? Bruno's eyes were very bright. She's pregnant, Guy said. He didn't like saying it. Oh, boy, Bruno said. I hate women like that, don't you? Well, no, Guy said. It happens. Bruno pulled the cigarette in and out of the butter. Men go to women like her, like flies go to rubbish, he said. What's her name? Miriam. Miriam Joyce. Guy tried to change the subject. Well, Bruno, he said, if you don't want to work, what do you want to do? I think a man needs to try everything once. You know, everything. Travel and women and, robbery and murder. He stopped and looked at Guy with a worried face. Did you ever want to kill someone, Guy? No. Guy was starting to feel drunk. Bruno picked up another bottle of whiskey and tried to open it. You know, Guy, the police don't catch most murderers. He was very drunk, and the top of the bottle flew off. Whiskey went all over the floor. Really? Guy said. No, they don't. Bruno drank from the bottle. Come to Santa Fe with me, Guy. I like you. I can't, Guy said. After Metcalf, I have to go to Florida. I'm going to build a sports club there. Oh, Guy! Bruno looked at him the way a little boy looks at his father. That's great! You must be very good. Guy smiled. Well, thanks. But, Bruno said, if Miriam makes trouble now about the divorce, If she came to Florida, Guy, well, you could lose the job, couldn't you? Guy thought. That's the kind of thing Miriam would do. You could murder her for that, couldn't you, Guy? No, he said. I could make a plan for murdering your wife, Guy, Bruno said. You might want to use it sometime. No. Oh, Guy! Bruno stood up suddenly and waved the bottle about. Oh! He shouted. Guy! I just thought, oh, yes! You murder my father, and I'll murder Miriam. The police will never find us. We're strangers. We met on a train, and nobody knows we're friends. It's perfect. Now the room was a little hell. It was very hot. Bruno's face was red, and his mouth was wide open, shouting. No, no, Guy said. He ran out of the room. Then he opened one of the windows and breathed in the cold night air. Guy? Bruno stood behind him and put his hand on Guy's back. I'm sorry. Guy pulled away from him. Oh, please, Guy. He was like a dog. It's all right, Guy said. Let's forget it. Okay, thanks. Bruno smiled. Do you want another drink? No, I'm going to bed, Guy said. Before he went to sleep, Guy remembered that his book was still in Bruno's room. He didn't go back for it. He never wanted to see Bruno again. Chapter 2. A Difficult Day with Miriam. When he got to Metcalfe, Guy phoned Miriam and they met outside their old school. It was a hot day, and Miriam wore a big white hat. Her face looked fatter than Guy remembered, and there were little lines under her eyes. Hello, Guy, Miriam said and smiled, but shut her little mouth quickly to hide her bad front teeth. She looked soft and sticky. Hello, Miriam, he said. How are you? When will the child come? January, she said. She's 2 months pregnant, Guy thought. He said, You must want to marry him. The man? You see, she said, it's a bit difficult. Difficult? He's married, Guy. Miriam was looking in front of her, speaking as if he wasn't there. But we can still get divorced, he said. Owen can't get divorced until September. That's 4 months, Miriam told him. We could get divorced now, Guy said. Could we wait? She asked. I think I'd like to go away for a few months. What do you mean? Your mother told me about your job in Florida, Miriam said with her little smile. She looked up at Guy with her dead eyes. I want to come with you and stay until December. No, he said, you can't do that. If you don't take me with you, I'll come alone, she said. Then I won't take the job. You won't do that, she said in a hard voice. The job's too important. She loved arguing, so Guy decided to be very calm. Yes, Miriam, I will, he said. Go on then, she said. Run away from everything. He tried to talk to her. Is there anything we can do about this, Miriam? He asked. I've said what I want. When Guy got back to his mother's house, he found a letter from Anne. What's happened? Write immediately or phone. I want to be with you. Why don't you come to Mexico for a few days? Oh, Guy, I'll miss you when you're away in Florida. but I'm so proud of you. Mum and Dad are, too. I know everything will be all right soon. All my love, Anne. After he read Anne's letter, Guy wrote to Mr. Brillhart at the sports club in Florida and said he could not take the job. He spent the next day with his mother. That night, someone rang him on the phone. "Hello?" a man's voice said. "It's Charlie." He sounded drunk. "Charlie who?" Guy asked. "Bruno! Charlie Bruno!" "Oh," Guy said. "Hello." "I've got your book, Guy," Bruno said. "Do you want me to send it to you?" "Yes." "Oh, I know," Bruno said. "Come to Santa Fe and see me. Come now." "I can't," Guy said. "Okay, what about in Florida?" Bruno asked. "I'll come and see you there. We'll have a great time." "No," Guy said. "That's all finished." "Why?" Bruno asked. Then his voice changed. "Your wife, huh?" "I know. She wanted to go to Florida with you." This surprised Guy. How did Bruno know these things so quickly? "You can still get a divorce, can't you, Guy?" Bruno asked. "Guy? Guy?" "Look, I have to go," Guy said. "Guy, if you want me to do anything, you know, do anything, all you have to do is say." Bruno's voice was thick and slow with whiskey now. Guy remembered Bruno's plan. He said angrily, "I don't want anything from you. Understand?" "Oh, Guy!" Bruno started to cry. Guy put the phone down. Chapter 3. Good News for Guy. Guy was walking with Anne in Mexico City. In her long white dress and with her yellow hair, she seemed to be made of gold. "But did you have to refuse the job in Florida because of Miriam?" Anne asked. "Yes. I hate her," Guy said. "Guy, you shouldn't hate people," Anne said. "You're talking like a child." He felt ashamed of what he said. Anne frightened him when she spoke like this. She seemed so far away from him. She was calm and rich and clever and happy. Guy was not used to this. Sometimes, when he was unhappy, Guy thought he was the only problem in Anne's life. They walked some more, then Anne went back to the Ritz Hotel, where she was staying with her parents. Guy went to his hotel. It was an ugly place, but Guy liked it. The next morning, Guy got a telegram from his mother. "Miriam lost her baby yesterday. She's very sad and wants to see you. Can you come home? Mama." The first thing Guy did was to send a telegram to Mr. Brillhart to ask if he could have the job again. Then he rushed over to the Ritz to see Anne. They had a drink in the bar at the hotel. "Are you going to Metcalf, Guy?" Anne asked. "Not now. I'm too happy," he told her. "Do you think Miriam will follow you to Florida?" Guy laughed. "By this time next week," he said, "Miriam will be nothing to me." Chapter 4. Bruno Gets Ready. Bruno sat in his mother's room at the Hotel La Fonda in Santa Fe and watched her put cream on her face. "Charlie," she said, "you won't do anything stupid when I'm in California, will you?" "No, Ma," Bruno said. He felt sick and his hands were shaking, but the idea was growing stronger and stronger. I must kill Miriam soon, he thought. In the next few days, or it'll be too late. Guy's in Mexico. Mother's going to California tomorrow. Nobody in Metcalf knows me. If Miriam died now, Guy could get the Florida job back. I need some money for tomorrow, Bruno's mother said. I hope your father sends some soon. That's all he's good for, Bruno said. We don't need him. She put her hand against his cheek. My dear, she said, I'll miss you. Bruno watched his mother walk into the bathroom. She had great legs. He really liked them. He started thinking about the murder again. It would be perfect, a pure, clean act. He wanted to enjoy it. Perhaps Guy didn't want to kill his father, but that wasn't important now. Guy might do it when Miriam was dead. Suddenly, Bruno felt very unhappy. He could never tell his mother. Hey, Ma, I murdered this man's wife, and then he killed Father. It was my idea, too. Aren't I clever? We're both free now. No, he could never tell anyone, except Guy. Bruno tried to remember what day it was. Sunday, that was it. The time was 8:10 in the morning. He had plenty of time to get to Metcalf. He still felt drunk after last night, and he wanted a clear head. He read the notes where he had written everything he knew about Miriam. He got out of bed slowly and walked very carefully around the room. There was one way to get better. I need a drink, he said. Outside the railway station, Bruno went into a bar and bought a small bottle of whiskey. Bruno, a man called. It was Wilson and his friends. They were drunk too. Hi, Wilson, Bruno said. I can't talk. I have to catch a train. Where are you going? Wilson asked. Tulsa. I'm going to Tulsa. I've got some friends. Wilson wasn't listening. This is Joe, he said. And this is... I've got to go, Bruno said. Bye. Bruno got on the train quickly. Did they know where he was going? No, they couldn't. The train started towards Metcalf, and Bruno fell asleep before he could plan Miriam's murder.